Hey brother! Today on this channel we talk about Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Marvel. Right now, Disney owns every single one of those properties except for Harry Potter, which is presently owned by Warner Brothers. For now. But in the recent weeks, Disney has purchased yet another massive property, Fox Entertainment. There are so many questions and implications when it comes to Disney in general. Like, is Anastasia a Disney princess now? Full video by clicking the card. And what does it mean for their Disney parks? For example, they had already licensed Avatar from Fox back in 2011. So now they just own that outright, but just across the way at Universal, there is Simpsons Land, which is licensed from Fox. Just so many questions. So today, we discuss what it all means. Nowadays, when people refer to Disney, I generally assume they're talking about their major movie franchises, Disney themselves, Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel. But you might actually be surprised just how much more falls underneath that Disney umbrella. Obviously, there are the 8 Disney parks in Florida, California, Japan, Paris, and Hong Kong. But you may be less aware of their other media networks, including ABC Entertainment and News, 80% of ESPN, 30% of Hulu, 50% of A&E, and 10% of Vice. And now they have added Fox Entertainment to the mix, which adds a ton of new properties to their already very impressive collection. I don't think we could possibly name them all, but probably most notably would include Avatar, the highest grossing film of all time, which now means that Disney owns the right to 6 of the top 10 highest grossing films ever. And then of course there is X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Deadpool, so expect all sorts of new reboots from them, although I have a feeling Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool will just get away with it somehow. Either way, it means with the exception of randomly She-Hulk, Disney now has access to every other Marvel character. And then of course there's also the entirety of Blue Sky Animation Studios, which are famously responsible for Ice Age and the Rio movies, along with others. And then finally the myriad of TV shows, including Empire, Family Guy, The Simpsons. Yeah, The Simpsons are now a Disney product. How weird is that? Man, it is amazing what a mere $52.4 billion can get you these days, isn't it? It is probably worth mentioning that they only bought the Fox Entertainment side and not the Fox News or sports channels. Either way, to give you a scale of this purchase, prior, Disney owned 21.8% of the market share for studio films, and Fox was in 4th with 12%. This means that this acquisition moves Disney to 33.8% of the market share. That is over 1/3 of all of the media consumed. And in case you're counting, that's almost double second place with Warner Brothers at 18% market share. But as commanding as that is over the competition, and as cool as it is that we're gonna get all sorts of new Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, none of that is the reason why Disney made this decision. The real reason for this decision is to reinforce their army in the great streaming war, where their main opponent is none other than Netflix. At one point in time, Netflix owned as much as 57% of the streaming market share, but in recent years, with new additions to the market itself, have dropped down to 36%. Netflix's story is actually unbelievably interesting. They basically built an empire sourcing all of their media from different networks, and then used all of their profits to create their own media. And they are taking it seriously. Netflix is pumping $8 billion a year into original programming. And the results have been great. We've gotten Stranger Things, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Kimmy Schmidt, BoJack Horseman, Master of None, Daredevil, and the list goes on. All of their own original content mixed in with like seasons upon seasons of your favorite shows and movies makes Netflix a great place to spend your money. But with more networks and studios entering the streaming war, and with Disney's own looming project for a streaming service, you can imagine that all of the properties under their umbrella might start to get pulled from the Netflix offerings. And that is where things start to get extremely interesting, especially between now and 2019 when Disney's streaming service is pegged to launch. Because in addition to launching their own streaming service, Disney also owns 30% of Hulu and just purchased Fox, who also owned 30% of Hulu. So if I can do my math correctly, 30 plus 30 is 60% controlling interest in Hulu. So there is some potential to see a lot of that content being funneled out of Netflix and into Hulu, at least until Disney launches its own mega subscription service. And And by mega service, I mean access to all of Star Wars, Pixar, Marvel, Disney, Disney Animations, Blue Sky, The Simpsons, Family Guy, and anything freaking else created by either studio all in one place. And then on top of that, they already have plans in place to start creating some of their own original content that would only be available through the subscription service. Can you imagine Disney making its own Game of Thrones quality, big budget Star Wars live action series? Now that I've mentioned it, can you even think about anything else? I can't. What were we even talking about? Oh yeah. That's a real thing, and it's already in the works. The point is, that is a lot of entertainment, and they could comfortably charge a lot for it. How much would you pay a month to have access to the entire Disney library? The entire library! Do you have any idea how much I have personally spent buying every single movie individually? What that final monthly fee ends up being will be very interesting because as it sits right now, you could very comfortably subscribe to multiple different services and still have it be less than cable. Which, like, cable? But if you're Disney and you control that much media, you could charge a fairly significant fee for that service. And with that, people might not subscribe to multiple services. Which leads me to my question of the day. Would you bail on Netflix? Would you just get both services? What do you think about this acquisition? And most importantly, which franchise are you most excited to see rebooted under the Disney umbrella? Leave your thoughts in the towel section down below. Like, personally, we love Disney. I'm so excited about having access to everything in one particular place, but I don't know how I feel about how it almost like monopolizes all of entertainment.
And a special thanks to these patrons who support Super Carlin Brothers on Patreon.
But guys, as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to see some more Disney history action from us, you can click right here to see the mouse that saved Disney, or if you would like to join our Patreon, I specifically recommend the $3 reward option where you can enter our Discord. It's basically a chat room that Jay and I have open on our computers all day, every day. You can kind of hop on there, ask us questions about anything, or just really talk to us in general. You can check out our Patreon right here. But Jay, that's all I've got for you today, man. I will see you on Tuesday.